Okay, here we are back inside MatrixGold once again. Thanks for tuning in. I hope the videos are helping you in your designing process. If they are, please smash that subscribe button, tap on that bell for notifications. Hit like, leave me a comment, and share the content. Really appreciate it. Today, I'm getting a little backlog on request, but I do plan on get to them, the clasp and the name ring. But today, I thought I'd go ahead and do this one here real quick. So it has a little stone right here in the center, and then the two larger stones and stones going around on the side. It's going to pose a little bit of fun for us. So let's go ahead and dive into this. First of all, I'm just going to go ahead and grab a ring rail. I'll just keep it at size 7. I don't know the size of the gemstones on that thing, and I don't know the size of the ring, but this will get you an idea of how to be able to go about and do it and to manipulate it at the end. So we need to probably keep this thing parametric as much as possible because it does go all the way around. So those kind of things you definitely want to try and keep parametric. The other ones that you can do ring resizer on, I wouldn't worry about it too much because you can do ring resizer. But anyway, let's go ahead and first thing I'll do is go to gems, and I'll just do a gem on ring rail. Now you could probably put your surface out there and extract an ISO curve, but then you'd have to move your curves around. This just offers me a little bit more I guess ways to manipulate it. So I'm going to drag this out a little bit, but first I'll go ahead and say that there's about a 10 pointer, so around a 3 millimeter, and take this and bring it as close to my ring rail as possible. We can always manipulate that later. And then of course I want to drag it down. I'll drag it down to maybe around a 2.3, maybe something like that. Should be okay. And we'll go ahead and accept that. And right away, I'll go ahead and take that, and we'll go ahead and transform, and we'll go polar array, and we'll just kind of bump it up to where they're close together. Now, it depends on how close. If you want two prongs, maybe leave them a little bit further apart. But if you want one prong, you can bring them as close as possible together, without touching, of course. So they're touching there. We don't want 23. 22 is probably good for one prong, but we'll go ahead and add two prongs in there. So we'll take it to 21. And we'll put two prongs on this puppy. And then I'll go ahead and shade it and then hit enter. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. All right, so we have these. So I'm going to go select those, and I'll just go ahead and mirror them in our X direction, not our Y. Actually, let's not do this yet. Let's go ahead and grab those stones, and let's go to our settings and do prong placer. And then let's just go ahead and first thing is we're going to do two prongs, I guess. Oh, so we're going to do two. So you don't want to, if you're going to do one closer together, you can do the prong placer. But if you're going to do two prongs, you'll probably want to go in and select one head, or one stone rather, by holding shift control and just select one of them and go to your head. Right, and the first thing we'll do is get rid of all the rails. We don't want any of the rails, we just want the prongs, and we'll drag this little puppy here up into there. You just want it below the down a little bit, not too far. And then we'll hit our X angle and just kind of, well, we'll keep it a little angled there, something like that. And we'll go in here and maybe drop that height down a little. Let's take a look at it in our perspective. Yeah, we probably don't need them that large because we're going to have two on each side, right? Or a prong here and a prong here, so we don't want them touched. Let's go ahead and bump this in a little bit, around to maybe 0.78, 0.80, something like that. And we'll just go ahead and say this is good for us, and we'll hit enter. Okay, and now we'll take those prongs, we'll ungroup them, and we'll hold down shift, select this one and this one, turn them to red and turn them off. We just want these two here. I'm going to go ahead and take purple and join those back, or group those back together rather. And then I'm going to go to my transform and polar array, and I think it was 22, wasn't it? Or 21. We'll go ahead and hit 21, and it'll put me a double prong out there. We have a little space in between, so that should be fine. But there is something I don't like on these prongs, so I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, and then I'm going to go back to my head there and edit it just for a second, and I'll go to level 2, and I don't like that dome so much up there. Dome height, I'll drop that dome height down a little, maybe not that far. There we go, something like that maybe. All right, and then we'll hit enter. So we have the two prongs on there, right? Now we'll just go ahead and select that, and we'll go to mirror in our X direction, not our Y, and then turn off or hit enter. All right, and then we'll check it out here. We have a little bit more space there than we maybe want. So let's go back to our gem on ring rail, hit edit, and let's offset this just a little bit. Y offset, drag it in. Looks like they're touching there. Ooh, they're definitely touching. Let's bump it out just a pinch. And they're still touching a little bit. What I'll do is go to my Y offset over here, and I'll click in that box there, and then I'll just go ahead and type in a extra 5. So it'll give me 5/100ths of an extra space in there, and it bumped them out a little bit. And I'll go ahead and hit enter. We'll say that's what we want. All right, so we have that out there. We have our outside prongs. So far so good. All right. And let's see, I want to check my side here. Let's go to my side view. Yeah, it should be okay. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select that rail again. And we'll go and grab gems on ring rail again. And this time what we'll do is we'll make this one a lot smaller. And we'll drag it, go to my wireframe here, and we'll drag it down so that it's maybe the table of the stone or something's pretty close to the girdle of the other stone. And then we'll go to our location, and we'll kind of bump it over so it's kind of like right in the middle of those, right? And we'll just go ahead and say that's what I want, and then we'll hit that. And now on this one, what we'll do is we'll do some crazy manipulation on this thing. We'll go to our head settings, a head. We'll put a head on it, and right away you can see we're not getting any kind of prongs out there because it's kind of basically too small. So what we'll do is go over to our rail count, and we'll just take that to 0, and it'll put our prongs out there. We'll grab the overall height and just bump it up. We don't need it very deep in there, and we'll go to our X, and we'll kind of straighten those out a little. Let's take a look. Yeah, something like that perhaps. And we'll go to our head here, and we'll switch it from to our north, south, east, west right there. And again, we probably don't need those prongs so massive, so we'll go ahead and let's see, bring those in a little bit, maybe around the same. And again, I don't like that dome so much, so we'll take that dome down a little. Yeah, something like that there. And we will nudge them out a little. So we'll go to nudge and then bump it out a little. We just want these two prongs touching just a little bit because we'll undercut it there. Now, if you were trying to leave it like this and do this stone would be very difficult. You'd have to, you know, undercut it, slide it in there, and then kind of like put a flange down on it, which is really cheesy work. It's not very quality wise, it's not very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take this as it is, and then we're going to take it, we're going to ungroup it, And then we're going to select this one, north and south, and then we're going to go ahead and turn them to red and get rid of them. We're not deleting them because we want to keep history, right? We're just hiding them, just getting them rid of our from our item, but we're keeping them. So we're keeping history. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and select this one and this one here and group them back together. And now I'm going to go grab that stone again and go back to my head again. And change it north, south, east, west, and then morale count down to 0. And again, pretty much do the same thing. Grab this one here, bump that all the way up, go to our X direction, kind of make it a little bit straighter. And this one we'll do a little bit more detail on. We don't need these prongs that massive because really this prong and this prong here will be what sets this stone. These are just be there to undercut a little bit, but they're not really going to do anything as far as securing the stone. These two will secure the stone. And we definitely don't need them that big. So we're going to drop them down quite a bit. Maybe like around 5, 9, 6, something like that. And let's see. Okay, so let's see. We will go to level 2, and again, I don't like that dome there, so we'll get rid of that. And we definitely don't need them that high on this one, so we're going to take the not the dome height, the overall height. We'll have to go back to our level 1. Prong height above stone. We'll drop that down, something like that, right? And we can even take it up just a little, maybe. Give the jeweler a little extra, and once he sets that stone, he's going to file that down, so that shouldn't be in the way once the stone's set, right? And I think that looks okay. So I'll go ahead and accept that. All right. Now what I'm going to do is take that and ungroup it. And this time what I'm going to do is grab this one here and this one here and turn them to red. And then grab this one and group them back together. Oh, not split them. Sorry. Group them back together. So we have these grouped, we have these grouped, right? You don't want to group all 4 because it'll break history. So just keep them separate, but when you select them to do other things, go ahead and grab them all. So let's go ahead and grab this, and let's go to transform, and we'll do a rotate, and I believe it was 21, so we'll hit 21 and enter, and it places them all out there for us, right? And that looks okay, but that stone may be a little bit low. Looks like it's a little bit too low in there. So what we can do is go back to our gem on curve there. Since it's all, we kept everything parametric, and we can just bump that up just a little, I think. We'll still have a little bit extra room there. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and hit enter. Because once that stone's set and it's filed down and then cupped, I don't think that's going to be in the way of those prongs or those other gemstones. And we want it pretty close to where the other ones are at. So to get that look, right? It's just a little bit below the stone. This one looks like it comes up almost even there. All right, so we got this out here. And we don't have any ring, of course, but that's no big deal, because now we can just go ahead and grab that ring rail, go to tools, and put a profile on there. And it looks like it's pretty well straight, so we're just going to go ahead and go to our library there. And I'll go down and scroll to just a square one right here. And place that on there, and right away I'm just going to go ahead and activate my auto sweep because we want it going all the way around. First thing I'll check is make sure my stone's not below the surface there, and it looks like we've got some good height there. Let's go to our front view, and let's turn it to wireframe here and just take a look where, oh, okay, so we can bump that up a little bit, I think, and we'll be fine. Give us a little extra, yeah, right there. So now it comes up, it's almost even. And the next thing we want to do is take that and kind of watch our side there and bump this side out so that our prongs just disappear. Right there. So they're right on the edge there, right? Which should be okay. Maybe if you wanted to, you could bump it out a little bit further. And definitely if you want to fillet this, fillet this edge, you'll definitely want to bring it out. And even really, this will be pretty tight to fillet, because when you fillet it, it'll go in, dig into those right there, right? So let's go ahead and take this. Once you fillet it, it's going to break history. Now what we're going to do is go to our curves menu, extract an ISO curve, put it in our center there, go ahead, hit enter, grab that curve, go to our gems on curve, select our target surface, that'll be this here. We have this one placed right in the middle there, so we don't want to mess with it. Let's go ahead and drag this around and put that dot as close as we can to that one without passing it up. And we can maybe close in that spacing a little, and probably go ahead and make them a little smaller. And we want to go ahead, girdle to table, and then I'm just going to do even a little bit more offset there, and then hit enter. We'll go to wireframe. We'll select those stones, and then we'll go to cutters, channel cutter, and I'm going to go ahead to my profile or library there, and then I'm going to just make a flat one here, and we'll just go in here and do a little manipulation. I'll drag that all the way out. We'll grab this and drag it back in so it gives us our depth there. And then we'll open it up some. Now you have to be careful here. But right now we have control, and we don't need this one as wide as the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom is more important than the one on the top, because we're going to cast it right. We're going to have to polish it and grind it out a little bit and round it and all that. But you want this to be at least a 0.4 probably. So we'll just go ahead, and that's a lot of, probably we can make that a little bit smaller. We'll just go ahead and say that's okay. We'll give it some shading here, take a look at it. Might as well go ahead and check that out. Did I do it on the wrong side? Yep, sure did. Okay, so I'll go ahead and go to my wireframe, and I'll select my gemstones there and select my cutter. And then I'll go to transform, mirror, in the X direction, not the Y, and then hit enter, right? So now I have it on both sides. Now we want to maybe go ahead and check this edge here. So we'll go to dimension, and we want to around a around 4. If we can get anything over a 4 or around a 4, I'd take that. Yeah, there we go. We're pretty close. If you don't like that, you want to make it a little bit wider, you can just grab that ISO curve and move it up a little bit, and that would be, you know, more fine too, I'm sure. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll grab that ISO curve. We'll do a little edit. We'll take the ISO curve and just bump it up just a little, something like that, and it's really not going to affect it. And once you you'll just have a little bit extra right here at the bottom, right? So we'll do something like that, and we'll hit enter. Okay, and now before you do anything else, you don't want to join these. In order to make this cut, you're going to have to probably go ahead and Boolean union these prongs, because they will go down into our cut right there. And plus, if you want to update it for size wise, you'll want to keep it. So just go ahead, select it, do a full save, and you can always come back and update everything. But there's some things that you'll have to kind of keep an eye on when you update. So let's go ahead and show that, because there's it's kind of a little it'll take you some time if you're not really used to it. So let's just show that. So let's say we want to take it to, right now it's a size 7. Let's say we want to take it to size 12. So we're going to go to our ring rail and edit, and then we'll go down and we'll just pick a size, well, let's do a 13. Size 13, and then wait for the update there, because that's a lot to bump up. and then we'll just go ahead and hit enter and wait for it there. Okay, so we have that, and of course it's going to take everything and move it all over the place, right? So the first thing you want to do is go to that first polar array, which is all those stones, right? And we'll do an edit there, and we'll just kind of move those, bump those up to where they look good. Up too much. So I'll bump it back down. Maybe a little more. Maybe a little bit more. 27. Yeah, that's probably okay. And we'll go ahead and say that's what we want. So we're at 27. Remember that number. We'll go bump up to the next one. We'll go ahead, hit enter, edit, and then on that one we'll just go to object. We know it's 27 now, so we can just go ahead and type in 27 and then hit enter, and it should update everything there. So our prongs are back to normal. Now here we want to go to that gem, right? Because that diameter of the ring is changed, so that gem is no longer in between those stones, right? So we'll go up to that, edit that stone first. Let's abort that. Oh, okay, let's go back. Let's back to our 27, I think it was. Edit. Okay, let's get rid of this. All right. So that first polar array, I believe, was edit 27. We got that, so we're good there. Let's complete that command. All right, so we have our first one set at 27. Let's go to our second polar. Abort that. Oh my God. Let's go to our second polar array, edit that, put that one at a 27. And puts our outside prongs right where we want them, right? And we'll take that. Yeah, that should be okay, because you can split them and open them up, or you can just make it wider. So we did that polar array. Now let's go to that gem and edit that gem. And this one we'll want to go to our front view, and we'll want to turn it on a wireframe here, and we'll want to kind of let's see, take a look here. We want to put it in between those two prongs. So let's see, where are they at? That's the small prongs. Right here's the, so we'll take it and we'll bump it over. A little bit more. Something like that perhaps. And we will go ahead and hit enter. So now we have this one in the center, but we don't have this number. So we'll go from that gems up to the next polar array, go ahead and hit edit, and we'll take that and put 27 and hit enter. And now it puts them right back where we had them, right? And that should be everything that we have. So you can update it pretty quickly. It's just a little extra work. Let's go ahead and accept that. And take a look. Yeah. So that'll, go ahead and you can update it from there. So that's why you save it here. Once you join these together and everything, it becomes much more problematic to try and update size. So let's just back out of all that, get it back to our original size 7. Okay. So we're at our original size 7 now. Yeah. Okay. And next thing, what we want to do is we want to join these together before we make the cut. So let's go ahead and go to solids, select Boolean union, grab our ring, hit enter, grab our prongs. Well, we just grab all prongs. And we can, well, before we do that, yeah, no, we need to do this first. So let's go ahead and hit that and put all those prongs on there and then hit enter. And check our surface. Close poly surface. So far, so good. Now we can make that cut, right? So let's go ahead and make that cut. So Boolean difference, this will be our first surface, and this will be our second surface, and enter. And yeah, that's okay. And we'll hit enter. I should have done both at the same time, but I didn't. So we'll just go ahead and do this side here and then enter. Okay. And now we can grab those and go to our settings and a prong placer, and it'll slap all those puppies up there. And we can do a little manipulation here. We can definitely want to drag them, not prong depth, prong height, bump them out. So we have a little extra metal for our stones, and our jeweler won't yell at us. And those actually look like they're set on there pretty good, so we'll just go ahead and hit enter. We'll take those prongs, we'll go to transform, go to mirror, again in our X direction, not our Y, and it places them on the other side. And you're pretty much done. You can just go ahead and do that Boolean union. Let's see, solid Boolean union. This will be our surface. Enter. Grab all those prongs. Hit enter. Let it throw them up there. And enter. Check our surface. Close poly surface. Still good to go. Now the only other thing is placing the cutters, right? So you'll want to cut it out. So we'll go ahead and do gem cutter, right? And let's place our gem cutters out there. And let's see, let's go in here, and maybe we want to make this bottom hole just a little bit larger perhaps. And I don't like cutting my prongs, and since I went ahead and joined them together, it's going to cut my prongs. So what I'm going to do is go in here and bring that in so that my prongs aren't going to be cut. Let's hide my stones. Yeah, so my prongs aren't cut, right? And then I'll go in here and re-bump that up just a little. Right? And then we'll go ahead and hit enter. Okay, so we have these, and we'll just go ahead and take those, and we will transform mirror again in our X, not our Y, and then hit enter. And let's go ahead and do this cut here. So we'll go ahead and do a solid Boolean difference. This here is our first surface. Second surface will be this, and then hit enter. And this might take a little bit of time. There's a lot of cutouts there. All right, and there we go. And then we'll hit enter, and it just barely nicked my prong there, so I can accept that, no big deal. All right, and let's go ahead and grab those stones back out there, and this time let's grab these stones and put some cutters on them. There's just one last thing toward the end here that we have to be cautious of that I'd like to show. Go ahead and throw those out there. Let's do the same thing. First, let's go ahead and get them off my prongs. So I'm going to take that girl offset and bring it in, and then I'll go to the wireframe here and kind of bump that seat up a little bit, because we'd like a nice hole to keep everything nice and clean. And then hit enter, and then give it some shading here, and we'll go ahead and do the Boolean here. Solid Boolean difference, this surface enter, this surface enter. and wait for those cuts. All right, there we go. And hit enter. Check our surface. Close poly surface. Let's put the stones back on, and let's do this last one, and I'll show you what I was talking about. I wanted to be a little cautious with. And these we'll just go ahead and do gem cutter here. Select gems. That'll be these here. We'll hit enter. And wait for, that's a lot of stone setting there. All right. And here, let's go and bring them in a little. Let's go ahead and hide those stones. I don't want to cut really just want to give a little hole there. Actually, let's bump back out of that. Let's grab those other cutters. Much easier to play around with, I think. But those would work. You could use those, no problem. All right, here we go. Now we'll just go ahead, and first thing we'll do is do that so that it's not, oh, wrong one. That one doesn't really matter to me. Where's it at? Right here. Girl also. Let's hide those stones. Something like that. And then let's go to wireframe, and we'll drag these all the way in. And we will need to make that much bigger there, and then we can kind of play around. Let's bring back our stones. Drop that to the bottom of our stone there, right? And we'll go ahead and drag this up a little bit more, and then make sure that goes to the bottom of our stone there. He can, the jeweler can grind that out a little bit more as well, so it's not a huge deal. And I'll bump this up here. Hide those, check that. Yep, we're good. And let's go back to wireframe, just check it one more time. Looks pretty good. Put our stones on there. All right, so we'll go ahead and accept that and change it. Go ahead and take those, transform, mirror, X yes, Y no, and we have all those out here. And we'll go ahead and do one more Boolean difference. This will be our first surface. Enter this one and this one here, enter. And that's a lot of cutting, so give it a little time. There's two things I'm going to show. One of them's kind of cautious. You have to be a little cautious of. I mean, I guess you don't have to do it, but it's not a bad thing to kind of do. So we got it. What we're going to do, we're going to check enter, and then we're going to check our surface. Close poly surface. So we're good. Really, you could stop here if you wanted to. But what I was talking about earlier is, you know, maybe you don't like this real here and here real sharp. You want to flay it. This one will pose an issue. The one on the bottom really won't, but this one will. So if we want to fillet it, you know, we'll go and do a blend, right? And we'll select it. Preview yes. The first time it's going to blow because it's set at 1, so we'll go ahead and hit enter, let it blow, go down here to set all, and it's going to have to be very, very small because our prongs were very, very close, right? So let's type in a point. Well, let's start with a 0.1 and see what that does. And wait for it and see how the fillet goes in. That'll leave naked edges all the way around, so it won't be a real good. Let's take it very, very small. See if that updates for us. Yeah, and it's still going in there, right? So you don't want that to go in there at all, because that'll create a naked edge right there. And wait for that to update there. That should be okay. It's not digging into our prong there. So I'll go ahead and take that. Yeah, to take that. I broke history. I'm going to go back. Did some, oh, broke history because of that fillet. Yeah, fillet. All right, check it, and we have a closed poly surface. You have to just be very careful. If that fillet goes inside that prong there, you'll have all these naked edges you'll have to go back and work out. But this one down here will not be a big deal. First, let's go ahead and do the other side here, of course. Whoop. Right click and just select that, and you're already set, so it shouldn't changed anything. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay, so I didn't put set, that's why, and it was real small. Let's see what that does. It's cutting it close, but I think that's okay. No, yeah, it should be. Let's go ahead and hit enter, see what this works. Close polysurface, so we're good. Okay, and then of course you can right click and select this edge here, select this edge here, and of course it's set small right now, but we can go back and change that as soon as it's see, it's barely there, so we can go ahead and select all, and we can do maybe a 0.5 here. See what that does for us. Maybe 0.5 is a little much. Let's do a set all. Let's do a 0.3 and hit enter. Yeah, that's much better, and we'll hit enter there. But once you do those fillets, it's going to break history, and we should have a close, and we do. So you're good to go. One thing that you might think about doing, which is, you know, 6 of one, half a dozen the other, is go in there, right-clicking on the fillet again, or the fillet edge, blend edge, right? And then going and selecting all these little ones. So on the inside there, just go and select all of them, because it'll make it much more comfortable for the customer to wear. But let's go ahead and select all these, and those ones are right in the middle. That's why we have to select so many, and we should be able. Just go through there and select all those. I'm not going to go grab them all for it. I'll just hit enter. And it just kind of cleans them up a little bit. Hit enter again. And that'll accept the command, and it'll go work out all those edges there. Working. And take it, close polysurface. So, but it'll, you know, just make it a little bit nicer, maybe smoother for the customer to wear. It depends on how much work you want to put into it and effort. But there you go. I think that pretty much looks pretty close, I think, to our item there. Right, 2 prongs here, and then we have the prong there. It looks like there's one there and one there, so it kind of looks pretty much like it. So hopefully that'll help you. You know, this spacing you can you know, always change, but you want to do that before you boolean everything together. So hopefully this will help, and if it does, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Share the content. Thanks for watching, and good designing.